Welcome to my backyard garden tour. Hi you guys, this is Nicole from My Carolina Garden. My garden is located in growing zone 8B and I am in southeastern North Carolina. I'm gonna start you off in my rock garden because June in the rock garden is so beautiful. I usually like to sit right next to my salsa red sombrero coneflowers here because they're stunning right now. But this year I also have some Cheyenne Spirit Echinacea. So that's like the mixed bunch you could get. It has a whole bunch of warm tone flowers in it. So I should have some pinks, whites, yellows, oranges all mixed in there. So far just pink and white, but my coneflowers are looking amazing. And I'm gonna get up close and personal and show you what else is looking awesome in this backyard garden tour. So if this is the center of the rock garden here, we are going to start by looking over at the one side. First of all, I just want to point out the Hudson Bay hostas that look rich and just awesome. This foliage is thick. These flowers are even like tougher than just a standard hosta flower, so they're looking really, really good over here. My couple of coleus in the middle, they're doing well, but wait till I show you some of the other coleus I have that is like amazing, doing amazingly well. This is the loose strife. I did not remember planting it here, so I'm not sure if I did or if it just germinated here from seeds that dropped or what, but I have to say, I really do like the way that purple adds to the colors of the garden. The dianthus here that was blooming even more abundantly in the early spring is cool. And then the coleus there is cool. And then yet a different shade of like a purple pink with that loose stripe. So I'm loving that. At this point, the wisteria is very large in terms of foliage and of course no blooms on it. It'll get just a couple of sporadic pieces like something like that throughout the summer now. But that's about it for that. Sunny Border Blue Speedwell. These will get deadheaded, honestly, once all the purple falls off of them. And then I'll expect some new buds to start up on it. The begonias are looking great. They're in a pot. The blanket flowers, a little bit large. I have to keep trimming them back just so we can mow the lawn and not mow them over. So I'm going to do a little bit more cutting back on them. And of course, I'll always be welcoming brand new blooms that are going to show up on this plant as well. I do have a dahlia here, right here, but of course it doesn't want to give us any standout blooms to look at today. My ladyhead planter. She has kind of taken a little bit of a beating with the brutal heat that we have. Our heat index is well over 100 degrees and she is not part of my drip irrigation. So the polka dot plant is starting to whimper a little bit. The begonia actually is too. So I'm probably going to have to take a few things out of the ladyhead planter just to give it a little bit more room in there to hold in some moisture in the soil. But these are the salsa red sombrero coneflowers I was talking about. Oh my gosh. These guys just do great. They have a perfect little bunch of them every single year. It looks like this. I adore it. The pink twister lanai verbena is also looking pretty good with lots of blooms on it. So that makes me happy. And then here's another Hudson Bay hosta that, yes, I do in fact have out in the sun. So you can see it's looking great at this point. It's not going to stay great when the real oppressive heat stays consistently for the whole summer. So probably, you know, in the end of July and stuff, we're going to be seeing a little scorching on the petals. But besides that, this plant has been here for 3 years now, I think. So pushing its limits a little bit perhaps, but it looks gorgeous. And the beach balls just fly out of the pool and land wherever they want and become kind of garden decor. These are the other coneflowers I was talking about. that echinacea that's there. And then I do have some blooming mums in the back. In June earlier, I had so many mums blooming around my yard. So these guys are a little bit later to the party, but they're also quite protected back there. And next to them, I'm going to have lots and lots of black-eyed Susans. They're going to be joining us very soon. This is the cordyline that is going to turn more pink and magenta that I overwintered in the ground. Came back successfully this year. This is my gorgeous ham and eggs lantana, still looking good, putting on a lot of size because it came in a pretty small pot at the start of this year. And then next to it, I'm not going to let it stay hidden, but I have a green twister echinacea right here. So I have some buds on it, which is very exciting because this type of echinacea is much more rare. All right, 2 things I want to show you heading in this direction. I just took a little bit of a step back so we can take a look at the arborvitae trees that are in this line. I know the sun is beginning to go down, so it's a little harder to see. But this very first arborvitae on the side is struggling, and you know why? I just picked off a ton of bagworms. So bagworms, you can tell you have bagworms on your tree if you see some cocoons that look like this. They're basically taking the pine needles from your conifers, and it's not just arborvitae that can get them, by the way. See how I have this many down here? I'm going to have to hand remove all of these, as I had just hand removed so many the other day. It was blazing hot, I was sweating, but that it had to be done. This tree is being damaged and was basically, the nectar was being sucked right out of it with those disgusting worms. When you take the bagworms in their cocoons off of your tree, if you happen to notice them, the worm is usually still inside the cocoon. It's absolutely disgusting. I would suggest wearing gloves because they are gross looking. But you want to discard the cocoons far from the tree. Do not just drop them to the ground because they will find their way back up into your tree. Hopefully the damage that was done can be reversed and this tree is going to be fine. This is the only one of my arborvitaes that had the bagworms on it. But down below in front, I have the gomphrena that my mom's friend gave her, that she started from seed, and my mom brought them to me. So I'm going to have 3 colors growing here gorgeously: white, pink, and purple. So I'm thrilled about that. And also, these are the Dragon's Breath celosia. I had said I had seedlings that I was finding in the yard everywhere. Well, I had a huge plant of it planted here last year in the fall, and this is the surprise it left for me. Speaking of surprises, this little area, I had tucked some of my potted plants into the shadiest part of my yard for my vacation. I wanted to make sure that if I didn't have certain things set up with drip irrigation, that they were going to be at least protected from the brutal sun and still do okay. More Hudson Bay hostas here, as you can see. This one is in a lot less light, so the colors are cooler toned, more blues in there. Well, the surprise I wanted to point out was the size of this massive coleus. This coleus jumped in size hugely while I was away. Now I have the 2 window box planters that have this coleus in it. And when I opened up my back door when I came home from vacation, I almost fell over. I could not believe how much growth was put on over here. If I measure from dirt level, I have about 20 inches on these plants, particularly that green one in the back, but 20 inches, holy cow. The only thing is, we got a lot of stalk here. So I'm actually going to do a trim back on the coleus, probably The part that I trim, I'm going to try to reroot that into another pot and then let this coleus bush out more. Now directly on the other side of the yard from the coleus I just showed you, obviously we have the pool, but I'm going to take you to the secret garden, or the shade garden, not the secret garden, the shade garden that, you know, has yet to be created technically, but I have other coleus in there. And just for the comparison, I really want to show you the size differences. So first of all, right at the start of the shade garden to be constructed, I have the Terrascape Queen coleuses. There are 2 of them, 1 on each side, and they are also huge. Let me just show you the pot that these came in. These tiny pots. And now look at what they've turned into. And there's still so much growing season left. I can't believe it. They look absolutely phenomenal. And almost in contrast, the coleus that I have in the window box here in the back of the shed, purposely to add some gorgeousness to my shade garden that I will be constructing, this coleus has stayed a little more compact, shall we say. I don't know exactly what the reasons are. All the coleus came from 2 spots, some from the seeds that I had planted, and then some from a multi-pack of coleus that I purchased. But it's interesting because these are relatively small in comparison. If you use my hand as a size example, it's just really, really interesting. But luckily for me, everything still looks absolutely amazing here because this window box nor these 2 coleus plants are on drip irrigation. So once again, just to get the lay of the land here, we have the rock garden over here, so that's technically to the left side of the yard. Over here where I have the grove of banana trees, my greenhouse is directly behind it. Then as we scan this direction, obviously poolside gardens and secret garden to the back of the poolside gardens. The shade garden that will be created behind the shed over there. And then lastly is this whole side of the yard. So we're about to get to checking all that out now. The hosta in the corner here to start us off is huge, and I divide this baby up all the time, so we just get so much new growth on it. It's quite amazing. I have these beautiful pink dahlias, and these dahlias come back as perennial for me. This is, I think, the 3rd year for them. This is just my azalea bush, so that's been out of bloom for quite a long time at this point. Lots of lilies over in this garden, and that's why I actually waited so long to do this garden tour, because I wanted my lilies to be in full bloom. I have purple asters down here, and then here I am at my crepe myrtle tree, and if we just scan up slowly, it is starting to bloom. So soon this guy is going to have lots of magenta flowers all over it. Coming back down here, so more purple asters. This is the Artemisia silver tuft. And then I have more coleus that I put in the ground. Coleus has been one of my favorite plants this year. It's performing great, and I'm kind of just testing certain areas of my yard to see how much sun or shade it can tolerate. So now, this area here was exactly what I was waiting for to be in full bloom for my July garden tour. But my tiger lilies didn't fully cooperate. They, as you can see, have all sorts of buds on them. And the buds first come out as a greenish color. And then when they're getting ready to open, turn to orange. So I have a whole lot of orange on here, but none open at this minute. Of course, you know, I'm going to insert a clip if I can before I post this video. But the gorgeous stargazer lily, oh yeah, that's here, starting to open up in all the places I have it in my yard. The stargazer lily is my absolute favorite, not only because I adore the way it looks, but it also smells phenomenal. And then of course just some orange daylilies behind there. Heading in this direction, I have a little mismatch of things. A couple of pots without blooms right now, so we're just going to kind of pass over them. My blue bench still has a few things that need to find a perfect home, and I have some vegetables that are planted up in there as well. Now this area is where I have my tomatoes and my sweet peppers and my chili peppers planted in here. However, what happened while I was on vacation was I know we got thunderstorms, but we must have gotten like a severe push of wind because we got a little bit of knocking around over here on the tomatoes. But even worse than that, this is my Texas Red Star hibiscus plant, and you can see this is what it is right here, getting tall, and it's taller than the fence by a lot right now. Well, unfortunately, the height probably did not help it out in this situation. Wind came through and broke a couple of these stalks right over. So I was just kind of leaving them here for now just so I can show you. I lost 2 huge stalks, which stinks because that means I'm also not going to get a lot of these red flowers. Somehow though, this one looks like it may actually hang on for a bloom even though the bottom's broken. So the peppers are fine. It landed on like the pot and stuff, so the peppers are fine. So we're just gonna kind of do a wait and see on the Texas Red Star hibiscus. The 2 urn planters that I put in here also added them to the drip irrigation system. So of course, like these polka dot plants look great as compared to the ones in my lady head planter, which again, she didn't have water given to her, you know. So I have the zinnias that came up. I just simply sprinkled them right into the ground, which is the easiest way to grow things by seed if you can. And then back here is my pineapple plant, which I stored inside my house for the winter. And it's just adorable. It's an ornamental pineapple. I actually saw some pineapple bushes in Aruba that people are able to keep out year round there because it doesn't get cold enough to affect them. But it's kind of cute looking in from the zinnias and then seeing the pineapple in the back. I like that. I have some other little cutie dahlias over here where I have some blooms. Dahlias come in all different varieties, so you can get different ones that, you know, just do different things. This is called Labella Medio. Ooh, and this is something I had not experienced before. I had clipped off a piece of my croton plant and I attempted to get it to root. It finally did after a couple of trials and fails. But I did not realize that the croton flowered like this. So that's cool because it's like these tiny little heart-shaped flowers. I don't know, I just happened to notice that when I was inspecting everything today. So that was pretty cool. And I wonder if it's because it was kind of protected back here. Zebra grasses. Their stripes show even more once the weather turns as warm as it is now. So that's looking pretty good. And I like it too because I like things to cover the fence a bit. The fence serves as a beautiful backdrop, but then things like this are pretty tall and cover a lot of the wood, which I like. Of course, more stargazers right here. I say it all the time, but lilies are one of my favorite types of plants to divide up and put in other places in the yard. So these stargazers are definitely no exception to that. And now I get to have more beautiful color, but also more beautiful scent in other places in the yard. This section's still a work in progress. I just have not gotten around to moving these things into a better spot. These pots are both here just simply because I had drip irrigation lines already cut out for something I had here last year, and so I just attached them for now. And so this magenta is the dianthus, and then of course those are red begonias, and then a red cordyline spike. And then over here I have some more coneflowers. I love coneflowers so much, so I want even more than this, but they don't spread like wildfire for me here the way that they did Like when I lived in New York, they were, oh, so easy to grow. Here, my black-eyed Susans grow very, very easily, but my echinacea is not the same way. So thank you for checking out my backyard garden tour for the month of June. Again, just waited till the last second to get this one out because I wanted the lilies to be looking awesome for you. Hopefully you found some plant inspiration or color inspiration, something you saw in my yard and you really want to try. That would be awesome. Let me know in the comments if I have anything that you do try and how it works out for you. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Follow me on social media where there's lots of real-time goodies and lots of beautiful pictures and everything. And until next time, you guys, happy planting.